Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Angela Brennan and today I'm bringing you the Spellbinders Clear Stamp of the Month from January 2022. I've also got the coordinating dies, and while this stamp is for Valentine's Day and the likes, I use it for many other occasions. You can use the heart stamp with the flowers and foliage. You just need to change up their sentiment and you can create the card you like. The focus of the coloring medium in this video is Copics. Some of the hearts I colored them in a previous video where I showed you my Copic color combinations. I've just brought them into this video where I'll convert them into cards. Here I'm using a card from Express It Blended. It's a card that was brought out by the Australian Copic company. It's smooth and it really absorbs the ink very well, allowing for optimal ink blending. I also use a stamping tool because when I use alcohol markers or Copics, I like to overlay my stamp with another layer. So first I'll use an alcohol friendly ink, which is either Memento or the Altenew Permanent Jet Black ink. In this case, I'm using the Memento ink, the grey colour, which is London Fork. I will keep the stamps in the same position in my stamping tool, so after I finish colouring using my Copics, I will stamp again with Versamark ink and sprinkle some coloured embossing powder. In this case, I use gold embossing powder. Sometimes if I use the Memento Tuxedo Black, I use another ink. And you can use Versamark ink as well, but I'll use probably an obsidian black ink from Altenew or fine onyx black and sprinkle clear embossing powder so you get that shine. That's what I did in my previous video when I showed you all of my Copics combinations. I'll put a link to that video in the description below so you can have a look at all the various Copic combinations that I have. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you do, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. If you do subscribe, remember to press the notification bell so you're alerted when a new video is uploaded. In the meantime, I'll leave you with some music and I'll catch you later. This is an old embossing folder from Cuttlebug. Goodness, I haven't used this Cuttlebug or this embossing folder in ages, but as I was organizing my embossing folders, I found this, and it is a polka dot, so it's rather generic. Before I put it into the embossing folder, I sprayed with a fine mist of water to soften the fibers in the paper, and after I emboss it, I leave it in the folder and put a heavy object in it, in this case my Misty, for it to dry. That way it does not warp and it dries quite straight. That's a little trick I normally use. I was going to use it on these colored images art, but I didn't like the white on white, so I used a colored heart instead. It just didn't go. I kept rearranging it to see whether I'd like it, and I didn't like it. So I took a different colored paper. This is like a light orange, and I heat embossed this stamp image with white embossing powder, and I think that really pops on the polka dot embossed background. I'm going to give it a backing of some foam, from fun foam, for some dimension, and I will pop it onto the card with a sentiment that comes from another old clear stamp of the month from Spellbinders somewhere last year. I can't remember. I think it's a September or October clear stamp of the month sentiment, but I stamp it in white embossing powder on the same colored card. I'm keeping this card really simple. Before I conclude this video showing you all my cards, I wanted to show you that this little star, the separate stamp, as well as the die, you need to turn the die around until you cut it properly. So this one I didn't bother turning it around and it didn't cut very well. This one I turned it around until I found the right grooves and it cut better. So they're not symmetrical, so you just need to turn them around. It's not very hard to find it, but just a little tip there. Just thought I'd let you know. Now to the cards I've completed. This is the card I started with, and I use some lovely gems of similar colors and different sizes to embellish the card. I'm into this gem phase where I like putting gems of various sizes on the card, and I love the lilac color. And I also added some Ranger's glossy accent on the flower so you can see a bit of a shine. And this is the card I made earlier, and all I did is added some gems, again various sizes in the same color. Same shade of orange on this gem. And this card, I used the Memory Box Pinpoint Burst Plate die in the background and added the Waffle Flower Label Maker sentiments for the sentiment. I do have quite a few of these sentiments made in advance and on hand to use on cards. And I love the little shiny silver gems of various sizes on it. I just think it's my face now that I'm going through gems of different sizes. And this background is a Memory Box Pinpoint Leaf Plate die on the teal card background. Lovely. And the sentiment is from the Pink Fresh Studio Perfect Sentiments hot foil plate, and I use a gold foil on it. This one is on craft card. I like to see how the gold embossing goes on craft card, and I use the tiny die cuts in around the Miss You sentiment from Pink Fresh as well, from the same set. I think around the sentiment it looks tiny and dainty, and I use a white gel pen to put a frame around the card to kind of ground the card rather than have all the elements floating, and embellish it again with some gems, tiny gems, quite a bit of tiny gems. Went a little bit overboard there. And this card, I wanted a gold mat to match the gold embossing powder, so I used some matting, green and gold against a blue back base card to bring out all the colors of the card of the images there. Some tiny gems again, this time in gold. I like to keep my cards relatively flat. Some of them I've matted with some additional layers of die cut. In this case, a few, I think 4 or 5 layers of the hard die cut. It makes it easier to mail. I do send quite a few of them overseas. Now this is the pickup tool I use normally, but it doesn't last very long for me, so I've just ordered the crystal katana, but this one, not the one for cards, but the one using for cakes. I'll see how it goes. It's easier to get that in the UK, but when I get it I'll show you how we use it. So these are 7 cards I use using the Spellbinders January 2022 Clear Stamp of the Month. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. And when you do subscribe, remember to press the notification bell so you're alerted when a new video is uploaded. Do check the description below for a link to the blog where there's close-up pictures and link to all the products that I've used. Do enjoy crafting, and I'll catch you in the next video, and stay safe. Take care.